Hello, Twitch chat and YouTube. Welcome to the very first Vintage Challenge post Neon Dynasty. Neon Dynasty has been released on Magic Online, so we have fun new cards to play with. The most interesting and fun card, from my point of view, is TAMESHI Reality Architect. You're going to get to draw cards when things are returned to hand. So it works pretty nice with Repeal, PO itself. Return a land you control to your hand. Return it. Will return target artifact or enchantment with mana value X or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Unfortunately, what that means is I already have to break my no saga rule because the card that synergizes with this the most is Urza Saga. It's you can bring back your Urza Saga. You can return an Urza Saga from your play. You can return an Urza Saga from your graveyard. It's pretty good. I guess that's not exactly true. The single best card for this is Black Lotus. I did a couple test leagues with different decks, and Black Lotus was it's kind of like a Luris with upside. It's like a Luris where you're always drawing a card no matter what, and it's blue and easier to cast and pitches a force. So that's kind of what's going on. What I did is I could have played a PO deck where you just slot 2 of these into blue-white PO with 4 repeals and call it a day. That deck is probably much better, but it's fucking boring. Actually, in general, I think these Urza Saga decks are very boring. I don't like to play them, but I did want to play at least one challenge with this card because I think the card's really cool. So what I did is I made it as spicy as possible. We're playing almost a Bomberman style Saga deck. So what I did is I took the winning Super PTQ list, which was an Esper Tinker deck with Hull Breachers. I took out the Hull Breachers, and I put in some fun cards. So I'm playing a Gifts Ungiven. I'm playing a Bomberman Auriok Salvagers combo. I'm playing a Sai to go with my Auriok Salvagers combo. I'm playing a Savine's Reclamation to go with my Gifts Ungiven. I'm even playing a Hullbreaker Horror. I don't know if this is castable. The idea is almost all of your sagas are getting Black Lotus because Black Lotus synergizes the best with all of the things that are happening. Like, obviously, your saga is going to pick up a Manifold Key if you needed to go for Vault Key. But for the most part, you're just getting, like, a Black Lotus. And if you're getting a Black Lotus, I actually think this is fairly castable and works pretty well with the different things that are happening. 2 Moxen is just infinite mana with the Hullbreaker. So it seems reasonable to me. I also just think this card's really fun, and I want to play with it. And I haven't been able to figure out a way to play with it when you're not playing Oath, but I think it's possible with Saga for Lotus that you can just cast this card. So we'll find out. I think the coolest gifts combo is TAMESHI, Time Vault, Manifold Key, Savine's Reclamation, and that's going to, put 2 of these in your yard, and then you'll always be able to get them back. So you will eventually Vault Key your opponent. That combo is very mana intensive and slow, but it is pretty sweet. So one of the downsides is that people are playing like sagas and main deck Soul Guide Lanterns and things that interact with the graveyard. I don't think this deck is like super all in on the graveyard because you do have, Constructs and Vault Key and Hullbreaker Horror and Tinker Citadel. So like it's not a huge deal that you're playing a combo that uses the graveyard, but it still can be kind of annoying. Like I said, I just took mostly Dom Harvey's PTQ winning sideboard. We've got like a Lavinia, a Blightsteel, a bunch of random artifact hate, a bunch of combo hate. I'm playing a Remora. Remora actually works pretty well with TAMESHI, but Remora is kind of like not very good in Vintage right now, mostly because of Saga. Like if you play a Remora against some kind of Tinker combo deck, they could just play a Saga and not cast spells. But kind of the idea is that this card is basically a Luris. So cards that were good with Luris are pretty reasonable with TAMESHI. What else? I wanted to try like a Breach deck with this card as well, like a Jeskai or 4-color Breach deck, because you could return Breach from your graveyard. But I just didn't figure out a way to make it work in time. I was telling chat earlier, I think that most of the Neon cards are not actually that good in Vintage. Obviously, Boseiju is going to be an automatically played very good card in Vintage. But after that, the cards are either like not super good or more for fun. Like I think the next best card is probably Patchwork Automaton. Automaton? Whatever. This card I think is actually legitimately good in shops. Maybe it helps you play a non-Ravager version with null rods, or maybe you just play a Ravager version and you go all in on +1/+1 counter synergies. I'm not exactly sure. Um, yeah, so I think this is the next best card. This card is really sweet and it'll be fun to brew with like Bazaar and workshops together maybe. So we'll definitely play a league, like a Wednesday night league with a Zeus Bond list, where we play this card. I think this card is not very good. This is like a dig through time that costs less if you have more artifacts. It seems a little bit of a win more kind of card. If you can cast this, you're probably already winning the game, is my assumption. And there are a couple other fun cards that we'll probably test out on like a Wednesday night and try brewing with some cool cards. Because I think there are like distinctly interesting cards like this Containment Construct. But I think besides Beseiju and maybe this Patchwork Automaton, then those are the two that you'll definitely see. Looks like we're playing our round one right away. We're playing against Bill's Live, and this is the player who right now is on the top of the vintage league leaderboard. He's been pretty high on a 4-color Deathrite Shaman Ragavan good stuff deck. I don't think that deck is super strong, but he has been winning a lot with it, so we'll have to see. I assume he just added Beseiju and feels very confident about his deck. We'll have to see if that is the case, or maybe he has something else in store for us. We'll have to see. Let's do it. Apologies again if I'm like super low energy today. I don't feel good. So we'll see what happens. Yep. I really don't think I care about Monkey. I could force Monkey, but it just doesn't seem very strong when I have so much going for me here. Definitely would rather play basic. I'm just gonna go Mana Crypt, Merchant Scroll. I guess I should have gone Underground Sea Tinker. But I was just gonna go Mana Crypt, Merchant Scroll for Ancestral. It's possible I was just supposed to go Demonic for Tinker, but we can still do that later. Ancestral's pretty good bait as well. It also doesn't get flustered. All right. Guess I should have forced Ragavan. What was I thinking? That sounds about right. The good news is a Black Lotus in our graveyard is not the end of the world, not the worst thing that could happen. Oh, what is happening, Magic Online? Well, now I think I have to force... Or my Ancestral is shit. It's so bad. It's so bad. All right. Unfortunately, because I went for basic to play around Wasteland, I can't go like Demonic Tinker now either. I might want to just like force pitch Ancestral. But maybe this Flusterstorm is never going to be castable anyways. All right. I'm going to force and like see if I can get an Ancestral. Wow. Okay. So they don't have any counter magic? Okay. Sweet. Yeah, it's really unfortunate that this hit Black Lotus, but this is part of the deal. It's a Ragavan. It's a RNG based card. Urza Saga. 5 mana. Okay, so it is the Ren and 6 deck. Ah, Leovold off of Treasure Token. Classic. Okay. Well then. So this game is so washed here. I'm gonna go get a Tinker, and I'm gonna have like no life to use my Tinker, but what if I get an Auriok Salvagers? Is there any way I can win? I guess I don't have white mana. The mana in this deck is quite poor. It's kind of what happens when you play Esper Tinker, but I'm just gonna go for that, and I'll probably Mystical for a Force. And hopefully I don't lose my flip and I have some mana to work with. We'll have to see. I think we're very, very, very dead here, though. My opponent having... yeah. My opponent's Ragavan has been very kind. Making their deck actually castable, hitting Black Lotus. Yeah, I mean... I could have forced this. Like, that was a choice that I made. So maybe I made a really poor choice, but whatever. So now I can Mystical on my upkeep for a force. This is going to be a Dak Faden. Yeah, okay, sure. You're going to steal my Mana Crypt? Yeah. All right, well, I can draw Moxen, I guess. Like, my opponent's deck doesn't do anything, which is my biggest problem with these 4-color decks. Like, they don't actually have counter magic to beat a Tinker here. But I don't think it matters, because they hit, like, top tier. Yeah, whatever. Sure. I don't know if I'm supposed to force Ragavan, but I guess there's like some upside to forcing Ragavan because you do have a Flusterstorm. I don't know. It doesn't really seem great to me, but I'm gonna bring in Swords and Balance, and I don't know. Take out. I don't even think Soul Guide Lantern's that bad. I don't really think any of my cards are like terrible. Like maybe Mystical is worse than it needs to be. Maybe Balance is not even that good because they're not even on that many creatures. They're actually like a Planeswalker control deck. I think I'd like to have a Swords in my deck though. I don't know. Yeah, I mean they board in like 3 Pyroblasts. I think he made like some decent deck building decisions, like not playing Pyroblasts in the main, but in general, I don't know. Not a huge fan. Yeah, we're literally playing a deck built around the new card. What? Oh boy. I'm not going to play the Jet because I don't really want to get my Saga plus Jet Vigored. I know I lose out on a spin, but I think it's worth it. I don't know. I'm like still thinking maybe I was just supposed to force Ragavan. I don't really have a super high opinion of Ragavan in Vintage, but obviously if you hit Black Lotus, it's a very good card. Like there's a lot of cards in my deck that he could have hit that would have been completely useless, right? Because it's a very synergistic, not or stronger than some of or stronger than whatever some of its parts kind of deck. Double Moxen from the Fair deck is probably pretty bad for me. And they have Pyroblast off of Mox Ruby. I mean, yeah, if you're going to draw like this, maybe you'll just win every challenge. Seems reasonable to me. Shit, man. Record tracker broken. I don't know. I don't know why it's broken. Looks like it, though. God, I hate playing Urza Saga. It is just the most unplayable Magic card. All right, you got it, homie. Urza Saga is so bad. It just is a vanishing land at all points. So sickening. Yeah, Ragavan is more of a feels bad card than actually a good card. I got strip mine, sure. I mean, look at fucking Saga here, chat. Okay, sure. Yes, thank you. I accept. I absolutely accept. That must mean they have Ren in 6 though. There's like really no reason to do that. Ah, classic. All right. I mean, this Saga's good if I draw another land. This is gonna be Ren, right? Has to be Ren. There's no way you strip mine a Saga that's fading away against with a Collector Roof in play. Maybe they're like respecting Swords to Plowshares. I don't really understand this play. Like my Saga was going to go away and I was going to get something that didn't do anything. All right, land? Nope, of course not. All right, so this Saga just goes away and I get nothing from it. Maybe this won't be a long stream. It's such a fucking classic. Like, what am I supposed to do? Hold this Saga until I have another land against like a wasteland deck? I don't know. That just seems really silly to me. That doesn't make any sense. So I could needle a planeswalker, or I could get rid of the strip mine. I think I'm gonna get rid of a strip mine. Like my deck doesn't have cards that lets you draw into cards. Like that's just rolling the top deck. Every turn you wait, they're closer to assembling a Ren and 6 lock. Like the upside of me drawing a land is like high enough there that it's worth it. Wait, I don't even give a shit about this card. This card is just a 2/1 haste because they have like a million. I don't know. I'm not happy. Yeah, sure. You got me. I'm going to die to everything here. Okay, repeal. That would be pretty interesting if I had additional mana, but unfortunately I'm playing Urza Saga in my deck and my land vanishing. So... God. Oh, boy. No, I mean, I have a Swords to Plowshares in my deck. It can kill creatures. I don't actively think an Oof is going to, like, ruin my chances of playing my deck. It just so happens that it does here. This is why Repeal doesn't really work in these kind of decks as an answer to Oof. You have to have, like, extremely lucky amount of lands. I think I'm just going to bounce this. I think I just need to preserve the life total. Like, I'm lucky my opponent has drawn no wastelands after they wasted their strip mine. Like, they used their strip mine completely, or like in a way that was ridiculous. But it didn't actually matter. Like, if they just hold their strip mine for one of my non-basics, then it's actually much better for them. All right, so I can vamp for a Tolarian Academy. But I will have no life left, and I will die probably. I could just vamp for an Ancestral, but that actually seems not very good. I get to like bring back these sagas, and they could be good. I mean, if they have a Pyroblast, I just lose, right? Whatever. Stall. I'm not even playing red cards in my deck. There are not even red cards in my deck. I can't play an Abrade and I can't play a Ragavan. Ah! I mean, they can. They just have to force this and play a Ragavan and I die. But like, I don't know. This is the best path to victory. If they have no answers for this, I can start returning Urza Sagas, and maybe I can play Magic here. This might not be the best stream today. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like, I'm obviously sick and also tilted from already. So I don't feel like I'm gonna take much nonsense. Yeah, sure. You got it. Vigor my inanimate objects. Does turn off my Tolarian Academy, right? All right, they have a Pyroblast, and then they can. I got. Look at that. I don't know. I drew like shit, clearly, but I also think this deck is just unplayable. So. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. Round 2. Let's battle. What do we got? We've got the uncastable Hullbreaker horror. I think this hand is just kind of bad. Let's put it back. It's like a classic Saga where you have your Saga targets in your hand, which is not the end of the world. Like Needle and Soul Guide Lantern are both reasonable cards, but they're obviously unenthusiastic cards. Okay, this hand's sweet. I don't know what we're playing against. Can put away this Reclamation because our mana is really poor right now. I don't know what my best line is here. Because Saga Jet Soul Ring is like very poor against. Maybe the best line is just Underground Sea Go Ancestral, and then on the next turn I can go Saga Jet Soul Ring because then I have Flusterstorm to protect it. That's probably true. Is there any chance that I play these out now? I don't think so. I could get punished if they're on like Ravager maybe, but that's not really a NAM deck. Okay, got Force of Will. Let's see what they're on. Okay, sure. So this looks like it worked out okay. I definitely... I mean, this looks like a decent spot to be sagaing, as long as they don't have a Beseiju or a Wasteland, or like we have a Force of Vigor beat, so... I guess we don't have Force of Vigor with Flusterstorm beat. Oh, it's gonna be a Vamp. I have to counter this because if they just untap and Collector with me, I guess I'm still fine because I actually do have the Misty Rainforest. But if they go like Mox Collector Roof, Wasteland, like I don't typically like countering this, but they have 3 cards in hand. I think this is fine. I think there are enough threats that they could get with this Vampiric that are not Flusterstormable that it's worth it. Oh, they are just on Doomsday. Okay. That definitely makes my play worse, I would say. But we have a Saga, so that's good. Saga's good against Doomsday. Get a clock going. I have Ponder plus Fetchland. Mental Misstep. Yeah, I think I'm willing to keep a Mental Misstep. I think that actually vibes. Though I guess I still lose to like Doomsday Gush, but I'm going to fetch away the Mana Crypt as well. They don't have Doomsday, clearly, if they're going to go Gush first. Just going to fetch now in case I get like Opposition Agented or something. Oh, it's Dig Through Time. Fair. All right, so this Mental Misstep looks pretty good against like a Dark Ritual here. I actually think this deck is probably fine versus Doomsday. Okay. So what can I get with this Saga? Anything good? So this is like actually the mana to cast Hullbreaker. This is kind of what I was talking about. I think Hullbreaker is actually castable in this deck. So I can get a top. I can get a Needle. I can get a Lantern. I think no matter what, I want 2 constructs. And then I have enough mana where the top is probably pretty good. Okay, so I have a Tameshi. What can I do with Tameshi? I can Lotus, Tameshi, return Saga. That just leaves me dead to Doomsday plus cantrip, I guess. Do I have any better plays? I could draw Needle and play Needle on Street Wraith. I mean, we're definitely killing them on the next turn. There's pretty much no shot we don't kill them on the next turn. If we draw into Tameshi and play Tameshi and return Saga, and I can put both lands back, return Saga and Lotus, drawing into top and replaying. I think it's actually just the most damage. I just don't know if we should just like draw Needle and on Street Wraith instead. Draw. I'm gonna float blue off of this and white off of this. So I have 2 Tameshi activations. I guess this could get forced, but who gives a shit? And then I can return Saga, bouncing this, and I get to draw into top, and then I can return Black Lotus, bouncing this. And then I can play top, and I can spin, and I'm 1 deeper, I guess. I have a Needle that I can get afterwards, I get. Do I win? So I can go Lotus, return Lotus, draw Salvagers, make infinite mana, and then do nothing with my infinite mana. I think I can't win, right? There's nothing to do with my infinite mana here. This is how like Tameshi is really good with Black Lotus. Like better than even Luris with Black Lotus. But I don't think I have a payoff here. If I had a Sai, we would win the game. So I could go. This is the exact same amount, right? Yeah, it's the exact same amount of damage. Okay. I think that's the best I can do there. Does it not even show up on Cardboard Live? That probably makes sense. Does it just say like 48 cards or something? Oh, it just doesn't have it. Okay. All right, looks like we lost. Not much I can do about this. I just didn't have any counterplay. I used my one Flusterstorm. I don't have that many Flusterstorms in my deck. It's kind of rough. We could have made infinite mana, but didn't have anything to do with it. But Tameshi Black Lotus was pretty sweet. Yeah. I mean, we had Mental Misstep and Ancestral. I don't think we can ask for much more, but it's Doomsday. That's not good enough to beat Doomsday. Oh, I get to draw off of my opponent's Gush? That's kind of cool. It doesn't matter, but... Oh, yeah. I mean, it would be pretty broken if it didn't have the first time clause. It's broken. It's a new set. That's how it works. Yeah, we got Doomsday. I could have not flustered Vamp. I don't know if that would have changed anything, though. All right, against Doomsday, I do have some options. I have Lavinia. I have some Flusters. A Remora seems reasonable. I could even bring in Balance, but I don't really think I want to bring in Balance. And then I can take out, like, this is probably too slow. This doesn't really do anything. Don't really like Needle against them. I guess Island is pretty useless. Seems reasonable changes. I didn't say that Tameshi went infinite. Tameshi was going to make me 6 white mana, which would have let me draw into Auriok Salvagers, which goes infinite. And I make infinite colored mana, but then I had no way to use my infinite colored mana. The Bomberman. Yeah, for me to win that game, I would have had to have a Psy in play. That way, every Bomberman iteration nets me a 1/1, and then I can draw through my deck. But it's fine. Every time. Every time. No, I think going with a fast spawn is just kind of overdoing it. It does enough. The card does enough on its own, but it's just kind of like an incremental card typically. Like it's kind of similar to like an Emery. But I think turn 1 Mentor versus Token is not actually a keep versus Doomsday. So yeah, we could draw a fetch land and be able to cast Citadel, but I think that's not great. I think this is just a bad hand. This is much better hand. I appreciate it though. All right, I'm just gonna get rid of this fetch land, slam turn 1 Lavinia, and then hope I can ride Lavinia plus Saga to a victory. It's kind of the plan. I also have, I guess I have Mystical for Tinker or something. Turn 1 Lavinia is very good against Doomsday, so we'll see if it resolves. Nope. They don't really have a good mystical target either. Like on my next turn exactly. I probably just need to draw something good. It's like this is like one of the best possible turn 1 plays I can even have against Doomsday. It turns off all their forces, a lot of their spells. I mean, this is pretty good. It does make them try to win on the spot. So there's nothing I can mystical for that will let me survive, right? I guess I could technically mystical for a mental misstep if I needed it. Trying to figure out if I'm supposed to play this Time Vault. I think the answer is no. I think the answer is I'm supposed to play top and pass. Well, I could play Time Vault and not play Saga, and it doesn't look very good, and then I slam Saga. But I think it's better for me to have access to Mystical here. Like, if they play Dark Ritual, I kind of have to Mystical for Mental Misstep, right? Don't know if I have a choice. I guess I could Mystical for Mental Misstep in response to Ancestral. No, they probably would go for Gush, though, so... yeah. I just don't have enough counter magic in my deck. Like, I have 3 Flusterstorms, 4 Forces, but that's just, like, not nearly enough to beat Doomsday, right? You kind of need the whole kitchen sink if you want to beat Doomsday. So maybe if I get another turn, what I might do is like Mystical for Time Walk. This is Demonic for Doomsday. I guess. What am I supposed to do? I didn't draw a blue card, so I can't even like Mystical for Force, draw into Force. Yep. So if they have Gush in their hand, it's pretty hard to win. But if they have like land Preordain, maybe we can still win. I guess this is the time where I actually have to do the pile. Lotus, 3 in hand, and 4 more. Yeah, I mean, they had Force of Will, though, so... Well, it's going to have to be Lotus and Oracle. Yeah. If we do get a pass back, I'm going to go for a Mystical for Time Walk into Vault Key. That's, like, my only play. But if I don't... Like, if I don't see Ancestral, we might have a shot at, like... Or even if they go, like, land Preordain, we could Mystical for a Mental Misstep. I don't think that saves us, but it does give us a turn. I don't know what a turn's doing for us. Maybe we could like play top and blind draw into Time Walk or something. I guess I can actually spin first, and if there's a Force of Will on top of my library, I can draw into Force of Will. And then if I don't have a Force of Will, I can Mystical for a Mental Misstep. But well, I think I'd rather let this Doomsday resolve than counter with it on the stack. All right, so now that we have, I think getting perfect information is more useful than spinning top pre-Doomsday. All right, so what do we need to do here? We need to find out. We got to find out exactly what they have here. No Nommer lists, so maybe it's the Bullwinkle list. Let's see. My opponent has 1 Force of Will, 2 Force of Will, 3 Force of Will, only 3 Force of Will. 1 Force of Will, 2 Force of Will. All right, they have a Force of Will somewhere. How many lands? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I lost count. Am I 13 or 14? Shit. All right, they have no gush. They have no ancestral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So they have a land. But the land's not in their hand or they would have played it. So the land is in their library somewhere. Dispute? Anyone see any disputes? Maybe a dispute? 1, 2, 3. All 4 dark rituals. Oh, this list doesn't have any duresses, so it can't be that list. That's a lot of duresses, actually. Dazes. 1 daze, maybe a daze. Could have boarded it out. You don't know. Sleight of hand. Sapphire, Jet, Lotus. Any probe? Probe, Ponder, Consult. Consult. Flusters. How many flusters? 1 fluster, 2 fluster. Could have a fluster still. Vamp. There's a fatal push in the deck. Could have a vamp. Why is there a fatal? Could have an opposition agent, right? There's the opposition agent. All right, I think this is pretty close. Just a pile of counter spells. So I think they have a land in their hand. And some counter magic. I'm not gonna spin before I tutor because they could have days. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like if they don't have the Force of Will in their hand, we have a winning line. So if their interaction is only days, I can go Time Walk and kill them. Oh, they don't have a land in their hand, right? Because they missed a land drop. You're right. So if it's just basically is Force of Will in their hand. Like we can beat days, but we can't beat Force. Unless we find a fluster. I think this is the best line. Mental Misstep. Does that beat anything? Beats Ancestral off the top for their other thing. If their top card is Ancestral and not Gush, the Mental Misstep could be good. All right, so they had Force and they pitched Preordain. Why would they put a land in their pile if they have Gush? Doesn't really make sense. Why would they put Lotus in their pile? All right, well, I mean, if they have Ancestral, I have Ancestral covered, so I think that's just the play. Okay, I mean, I'm kind of all in on them having just Ancestral on the top. No, because we have a Saga going off, and that gets us a Lotus. Looks like we got there. Oh, wait, this gets us a Manifold Key. You're right. You're right. I'm stupid. What can I say? I guess we do still lose to Days. Could I have beaten Days at all then? No. All right. So they had Force of Will, not Days. I think the line we took was good. You're right, though. I don't think I can actually beat Days. I would have to draw. I mean, I could draw. Well, if I had spun and there was a land. Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Take it. Repeal, not good, right? I mean, it cantrips. Yeah, it's fine. Sometimes you got to be really good at the game. Read, draw the right cards. All right, what do we got? No counter spells. I don't really have dead cards. I just don't have good cards. I don't think needling Necropotence is ever going to win you a game. I actually think more likely Necropotence will lose them the game. Yeah, I don't think Lantern does anything, so seems a little wild. I think I've won more games by my opponents Necroing than Necro winning for my opponents. I think Necro is quite bad in Doomsday, but it's a powerful card, so you can win. But it's just an RNG. You kind of coin flip your game. Necro beat my Hull Breacher. Yeah, could do that. I'm going to fetch now because I don't want my opponent playing the opposition agent. What you got for me? Doomsday on the play, 7-card hand, bottom, and cycle. I mean, Duress Ritual Doomsday, yeah, that's gonna kill me. Maybe it'll be a Necropotence. Okay. The good news is I probably don't die unless they have a Gush right away, right? I love Doomsday. It's a fair deck. What can we say? I only have to have 3 pieces of counter magic to beat it, you know? They have Gush. Yeah, Doomsday is just a great time, man. How dare I not have multiple pieces of counter magic on turn 1? What was I thinking? It was so bad of me. Yeah, whatever. Like, what do you want? Like, fantastic. Well, I mean, we registered a shit deck. Not much to be said there. All right, here we are in now round 3. We are currently 0-2. Doomsday was too strong for us. We're playing against ADM, who, if you don't remember, a while back played some Juggernauts against us. They promised in chat they will not be playing Juggernaut this time. I've been watching ADM's replays because they're always very interesting, usually on some kind of painter brew. So we'll have to see what they have for us today. Obviously, this hand is not functional. Or maybe I should just say my deck is non-functional. Definitely going to keep this one, though. All I need to do is draw a Moxen or a land. So then our Saga looks pretty reasonable. I have Force, so... Saga Gaming versus Saga Gaming in the 0-2 bracket. No one could have seen this coming. Could have forced this, but I think it's kind of aggressive, knowing what my opponent is likely to do to me with painters and grindstones and things. Obviously, we're looking to hit a blue land or a Moxen, even a Jet. Lotus is very good. A lot of nice hits. Knowing that, we'll probably draw Hullbreaker Horror. Island? Island works. I think... Knowing my opponent, I'm not sure how good Flusterstorm actually is, but... I think I'm going to play Island. That way, next turn I can play Tameshi instead. That I can hold up Fluster. I can even end of turn Brainstorm if I wanted to. This definitely protects us well against, like, I don't know, Mox Opal Tinker. Tolarian Academy Tinker. I don't know. This is a good hand, though. Expedition map. I have a feeling we are behind, one might say. All right, well, I think I'm going to just end of turn Brainstorm and try to find better cards. What is this? Holy shit. There's a Hullbreaker? Hullbreacher? I sure hope they don't have a counter spell. All right. I honestly did not expect a Hullbreacher, so... Wow, these cards are not very good either. Now they can just find a grindstone or a painter or whatever and kill us. I could mystical for something. Get rid of these bad cards. Maybe I do that. Maybe I just mystical for Tinker or... Maybe just mystical for Tinker and hope they don't kill me. And then go for a Tinker. Maybe I can go demonic, but I don't really know where that's getting us. Mystical, demonic, Lotus, Tameshi. It's not good enough because I don't have another white mana. I could go mystical, demonic, get a Tinker. That doesn't actually help me, right? I don't really want to do that. I could just mystical for a Force of Will. I just don't think I'm winning that game ever. Yeah, I'm just gonna get a Tinker and hope I don't die. Can't imagine I will do the not dying, but who knows? Make a dude. All they have to have is painter, right? And they have spin. I really wish I just played Force of Vigor today instead of playing Saga. Is that a Shadow Spear? Okay. Shadow Spear Island didn't spin. Maybe we were still playing Magic. Like, you gotta spin and look for a painter, right? It's free. My opponent is a painter aficionado. They're milling? What is happening? Why? Why don't we just spin and look for a painter? I'm so confused. I mean, sure. All right, we're gonna try to tinker into a Vault Key. I have 19 life to work with, but no draws. We are a Saga deck, so we don't have the best tinkering, but I think I'm gonna leave this black mana. I think it's more important than a Saga. Yeah. Bolus of Citadel. Let's see if we brick. Soul Guide Lantern. There's one Saga. Soul Guide Lantern would be nice because I could draw if I didn't have a Hullbreaker in play. Just play a Saga. Ancestral Recall. Yeah. Okay, you can have 3 treasures. I think I have to win the game this turn, so... Ooh, I drew Force off the top. Force it. Got him. Oh, boy. All right, Merchant Scroll. Shuffle away a Saga. That's good. Can't cast whatever I draw here. I'm gonna die no matter what. So... I guess a Force is still the best. Because then I can force... I don't know. And maybe Reveal will eventually be good. Sure. Top? I can't draw with this top, but I can spin. Oh, are we doing it? This certainly looks like we're doing it. I'm at 9. Okay. Sure. I have an emerald. I don't have any blue mana still, but this does get me a bunch of mana to spin with my top. So, yeah, we need a sapphire or a lotus. All right, we lost, right? Because I can't cast any spells and I can't draw any cards. Wait, I can force... I can put a top on top. No, I can just force a... Okay, I can force the mana crypt or the top from my yard. And then I can spin again. I'm not going to their turn. If I go to their turn, I'm going to die. And also, I can't draw on their turn. That's not how Hullbreaker works. So I can play Sensei's top. enforce it, and then I can spin for a Lotus. Only the strongest of Magic the Gathering plays. Manifold Key. Damn it! I'm so close. I have Tinker Manifold Key, but I don't have any mana. Hullbreaker was really good there. Hullbreacher was really good there. Because I think I definitely win without Hullbreacher, but... Yeah. Okay. Someone told ADM to put blue in their deck, and that's not good for me. Not good for me. I gotta cut more cards? How do I even do that? What am I even doing? Don't want to cut needle. I guess maybe I can trim on stuff, things. Sure, why not? I don't really think I like the way my opponent played that section. I would have spun and looked for the instant painter kill, but I drop this so often. I have backup plans. I have Demonic for Lotus. So opponent has mold to 4. Opponent has mold to 4. Gonna Ancestral on my turn here. Obviously I might overdraw, but I think that's fine. I did overdraw, but again, I don't think that's a huge deal. I'm just gonna discard a Tundra. I guess a floated Delta maybe. It's possible I'm supposed to discard Citadel, but we can probably get to Citadel mana. Ah. I got Graph Digger's Caged. Okay, don't really care about that. I have a repeal in hand. Boom, boom. Yawgmoth doesn't really work well with my different Lotus combos, but I'm just gonna go get my Lotus. I guess, yeah, I'm just gonna go get my Lotus. What could they play that I don't want to play this? I can just hold. So if I just draw a blue card, then I can repeal this cage and go for a Citadel. They have their own Lotus, sure. Yeah. If I have to use my repeal here, it'd be pretty bad. All right, well, I have infinite mana. So, and that doesn't even, that doesn't, Cage doesn't even stop that. No, yeah, this is just very winning. Am I actually going to Bomberman them? Is it happening? All right, so first what you have to do is make a bunch of white mana. And then we can make a bunch of blue mana. And then we can make a bunch of black mana. And it's going to take a long time. But we are doing the thing. This is a true statement. Congratulations, chat. You just signed up for this. My opponent's asking if they can concede, but like I can't really tell them. So I think this is fine, and then I can just repeal this cage. Because they only have one card left. So I think we're sitting through this. Yeah. Is there an easier way to do this? I should have watched some Bomberman. So what if I put this thing here? Put this here? Yeah, that is easier. Bomberman optimization. Well, Yogg is going to turn off my infinite mana, which is not something I want to do until I know I can win. I don't think I have a guaranteed win with the Hull Breaker existing. Hull Breacher existing. I don't know if that's actually true or not, but... so I can Mystical for swords, and then I'm probably winning. Wait, I could get Gifts Ungiven, and that's probably winning. I don't know. I think they all kind of probably win. I don't know. Let's just do this so that I can not have to think as hard. All right, so now I have Demonic and Mystical for Tinker. Oh. Demonic for key. And then mystical for tinker. There we go. That should do it. Oh, that's fun. That felt like the easiest way to do it, to be honest. So... yeah, that was fun. That was a good time. I'm glad we got the bomber, man. I don't really have great options against this deck. I didn't really plan for the painter matchup. What do we got? This looks fine. Maybe not. This is a wish I had Luris hand. I think I mean, double draw, infinite like so much mana. Misstep. I'm gonna keep this hand. It doesn't do anything, but I think there are enough payoffs. Should be fine. I'm like pretty happy to keep most Lotus hands. All right. Painter Servant. Naming white makes sense. I guess we are gonna die to that. I guess we are going to die to that. I can't read any of my cards either. So that's not fun. All right, so here I can go Lotus, Lavinia, Time Walk, and not use my Mana Crypt. I am going to die to this Grindstone, though, so should be interesting. Kind of wanted to draw like a Saga so we could go get our Needle with our Time Walk. That would have been pretty dope. That's what my opponents always do to me. What's in your hand, friend? Tezzeret, the Betrayer of Flesh. I love it. Crucible of Worlds and Island. So they won't actually have enough mana to Grindstone me. No, that's not true. They will. They just floated mana off of this. They can't really play Magic the Gathering cards, but I don't have a way to stop Grindstone from killing me. So... Uh-oh. 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 Urza Saga, uncounterable Grindstone. That's a damn shame. I can't cast any. Like, they have no cards to cast, but they don't need any cards to cast because I'm dead. I need to draw an answer exactly now. Tinker does it, though. Infinite turns. Sure, friend. Sensei's Top's a good one. Get a lot of looks that way. 6 looks. Merchant Scroll. That doesn't do it. So, crack, fetch, use the manifold key, untap Mana Crypt, spin. Seems like our best option. Merchant Scroll could get repeal. Wait a second, but I don't have enough blue mana, right? Let's see. If I draw Merchant Scroll and don't untap, Maybe I was supposed to start by untapping Mana Crypt. If I had started this by going mana, untap Mana Crypt, 2 mana, spin 1 mana, draw Merchant Scroll. No, I would be 1 mana short. I would be 1 mana short. No, I could repeal the Jet. No, that doesn't do it because this makes mana in the main phase. No, that's not possible. It's going to take too long. All right, I think what I'm going to do is crack this fetch. Untap my Mana Vault. Spin my Tapa one more time. Nope. None of those do it. We did find Tameshi Black. Like, it would have been pretty nice, but I guess Demonic is going to win us the game if we took another turn. What I could have done, actually, is if I had left a black mana open and had boarded in Strip Mine, I could have Demonic for Strip Mine and Strip Mine Saga. If I kept the black open, I could Demonic for Needle, but I'm 1 mana short. I mean, you got, like I got. What can I say? That is definitely the power of Saga, is I didn't have a Force of Will for the Painter Servant, so I just get combo killed. As long as they do this right, but I'm gonna make them do it right. Yep, float, get a grindstone me. I don't have counterplay. Ooh, baby. I'll go out on my own terms. All right. I think that's enough. I don't have any intention of playing more matches of this this deck. I think it has all the problems of a normal Esper Saga deck, which I think are quite bad anyways, and just makes it worse by playing a bunch of cards that are not very good. Like I cut a bunch of Fluster. I mean, I don't think Fluster would have been particularly good in this league. We got to do a Bomberman once, and you got to see a little bit of Tameshi. Well, this card is pretty good when it sits in play, but it kind of needs to sit in play. If you don't have Black Lotus, it needs to sit in play. But if you have Black Lotus, this card makes a ton of mana up front. Like, you can basically, you're playing this on like turn 3 or turn 2, so you're getting at least 2 activations of Black Lotus with this. So you can really ramp out a bunch of mana, and it also will draw you a card. So like, when you have Black Lotus, I think this card's quite good. When you don't have Black Lotus, it's not as good, but it is still like 1 card every turn. Sometimes you can repeal on their turn to bounce something, and then it's like 2 cards, you know, get a card on their turn, get a card on your turn. We didn't really get to see that. We didn't get to cast any Gifts Ungiven, unfortunately. I am happy, though, that we got at least a Salvager kill, because that's always fun. Salvagers is a pretty fun old school combo. In general, I just like don't recommend playing Saga decks. I think they're boring and also like very exploitable. It was pretty rough for us to like lose to just a Collector Roof as our opponent locked themselves out of playing spells in round 1. In round 2, like we had Flusters, but we didn't have like 4 Flusters. Maybe we had like some cards to board in versus Doomsday, but even if you're boarding in like 4 or 5 cards against Doomsday, they can still just have a turn 2 kill you. Not much to do about that. And then obviously versus Painter, they were just like more efficient at doing their thing than we were. which is fair. Like they probably sacrificed some amount of flexibility for raw speed, and they certainly just like outsped us there. If we were on the play in game 3, right, then it probably is different. But having lost earlier, there wasn't too much to do. Yeah, overall, like this card is really cool, but I don't know if you'll see me play it ever again, just because you kind of have to play Saga with it in my mind, and I think playing Saga is like a fate worse than death. So that's it. That's the end of this stream. I don't want to play any more Magic, so I'm good. I hope you'll see me in the next video. We're gonna do at least a workshop league where we play this patchwork thing. Card's sweet. We're gonna do a bizarre workshop league where we play around with this containment construct, which seems really cool. And I will definitely be playing some decks with Boseiju once I acquire a Boseiju or a few Boseiju's. There are definitely some cool cards that we're gonna get to brew with, but overall, yeah. You might see me play this PO deck, which I also have lined up, but the problem is it still has the same issues. Like, it's still a Saga deck. It's still really boring, but it does make some nice use of Tameshi with 4 repeal. So maybe I'll play this deck in a short stream, maybe a league or something, but I don't know if I really want to play a challenge with this deck. Though this deck is probably much more competitive than the Bomberman deck, I think it's like about 10 times less interesting. Have a great weekend, everybody.